Am I wrong for keeping my name change a secret for 5 years? So my 26 female parents decided to name my sister and I after American states. I have permission to share her name, Arizona, and I was called Pennsylvania at birth. Yeah, my parents are weird. I guess they thought geographical names were cool, but I think there's a huge difference between calling your child Arizona or Dakota or Paris versus Pennsylvania. They're massive Republicans and America lovers, so maybe they wanted to be patriotic. For as long as I can remember, everyone has called me Pen or Penny. My parents insisted that everyone was to call me by my full name, but most people could see how ridiculous my parents are. My sister, 28 female, didn't struggle as much with her name since Arizona just sounds so much better than Pennsylvania, and the Grey's Anatomy character Arizona Robbins made the name seem quite cool as we got older. I was mocked and teased as a child in elementary school because of my parents' insistence on my full name. They would literally berate my teachers for letting me write Penny on my workbooks. When I was 21, I got my legal name changed to Penelope. Most people I had met in college had assumed that I went by Penny as a nickname for Penelope. Even my boyfriend's mother called me Penelope because I was too embarrassed to tell her that Penny was short for Pennsylvania. I kept it a secret from my parents and close family because I knew my parents would go mental and accuse me of disrespecting their choice. I'm getting married this summer to my lovely boyfriend Tom, 31 male, and as you all know, you have to say your full name in your wedding ceremony when doing your vows. I knew I had to fess up about the name change because the alternative would be hoping they would keep quiet when they heard me say, I, Penelope, instead of I, Pennsylvania. I invited them over to my home and I tried to tell them in a really calm way that I had changed my name, but they freaked out. They said I was disrespectful and I was calling their name choice dumb. They refused to attend the wedding now. I know I'm not the asshole for changing my name, but my parents are particularly pissed about how I kept it hidden for 5 years before telling them. Most people I know agree with them. They think that I should have had the courage to be honest with them years ago so they would have had time to get used to it instead of dropping the news on them 2 months before my wedding and causing all this drama. A few other family members have dropped out and my poor sister, who is the maid of honor, is having a nightmare with this. My parents believe they had the right to know much earlier.
So my little sister died of a drug overdose in November of 2021. A lot of people ask me, how did she get into drugs? What's the story? How did it start? In my opinion, it started 18 years ago today. Because on May 23rd, 2006, Emma and her best friend Kelsey were in a car wreck and Kelsey did not survive. After the car wreck, Emma had pain from the car wreck, horrible anxiety and depression, survivor's guilt, and was just prescribed over and over and over a bunch of different things. I also have never talked about the day of the wreck. I can't believe it's been 18 years. My sister was 15 and Kelsey was 14. They had just finished their freshman year of junior high, getting ready to go to high school. So on that day, I took Kelsey and Emma to go swimsuit shopping. Anyways, I picked them up, took them to the mall so they can get their swimming suits, went and dropped them off at Kelsey's parents' house, and that's the last time I saw Kelsey alive. And about 9 o'clock, my mom calls and says, Emma's been in a wreck, can you go pick her up? Emma and Kelsey lived maybe not even 2 miles apart. And so this friend picked them up from Kelsey's house and was driving them to Emma's house down one street, down Ridgeview in Olathe. And he picked them up and he started driving erratically and lost control of the car. I left my apartment, and as soon as I crossed the bridge that separates the side of Olathe that I lived on versus where the wreck was, I crossed over the bridge on 119th Street, and that whole side, like all the houses and apartments and buildings, there was no power. It was black. There was no street lights or anything. And I was like, oh, it's awfully dark over there. But I still didn't register, like, that's concerning. And then a fire truck pulled out in front of me, and everyone started veering off to the side to let the fire truck go through. And that's when I was like, this is not just a fender bender. This is not just a little wreck. Like, this is not good. Instead of pulling over, letting him go through, I let them get in front of me, and then I sped right along with the fire truck because at this point I know it's a bigger wreck than we realize. So I get there and there's tons of police and other fire trucks and there's all these spectators. And so when I pulled up and around, they're like, no ma'am, you can't park here. I was like, that's my sister over there. And so they let me like park my car in the middle of the intersection and run through. Emma was sitting on the curb and she was okay. She was just very distraught and she had like a bloody leg from crawling out the window. I saw Kelsey, but she was in like this big inner tube deal at the time, but I had no idea what it was. But I squeezed her toe and just like said, hey Kelsey, I'm here, not realizing at that time what that was. And the police were like, can you call Kelsey's parents and let them know to meet them at the hospital? They told me what hospital to go to, and there's 2 of them. There's the South Hospital, and then there's like one downtown. Which one? And they're like, no, Children's Mercy South. I was like, okay, are you sure that's where they're going? Yes, that's where they're going. I call her parents and say they've been in a wreck. The girls have been in a wreck. You can go to Children's Mercy South. That's where we can meet them at. They get there before me, and as I'm walking in, I hear her dad being like, what do you mean my daughter's not here? This could be the last time I see my daughter alive. And I was like, whoa, like, first of all, what are you saying? The hospital that we were told to go to was not the hospital. the girls were going to. So they were like, no, you need to go to the Children's Mercy downtown. So they like storm out and they're really mad, which obviously I would be mad too. Unknowing at the time that Kelsey had totally tanked and they diverted her to a closer hospital altogether. They life flighted her to Overland Park Regional. And somehow in the time frame that I left the wreck, went to the wrong hospital, realized it was the wrong hospital. I looked up on the screen of like the news that was playing in the waiting room and it said there's been a fatality wreck at 119th and Ridgeview. And I was like, I didn't know if it was Emma, I didn't know if it was Kelsey, and I didn't know if it was the driver. No, so then I go flying down to Children's Mercy downtown. And so I get there and we still don't know what's going on. I go out to the waiting room and there's like double doors that open. I walk out, my mom's sitting out there. My mom literally is the most stoic, rational person. And she was the most hysterical I've ever seen her. And she's, no, we can't. She can't. Wait, who's going to tell her? How's Emma going to live without Kelsey? And I was like, wait, what? And then the lady that was with my mom, she's like, Kelsey didn't make it. And I was like, oh my God. And I just kind of walked back in the double doors and let the doors close. I mean, it was such, you know, I literally remember the whole scene. I don't feel like I have really good memory of recalling details of past events unless they were on like a video or pictures. But this day, this whole scenario, I remember so much detail. After I found that out, everyone's like, who's gonna tell Emma? I can't tell Emma. And so they elected me to tell Emma. Emma's still just crying, asking, where's Kelsey? And I said, Emma, she didn't make it. And the wail, the sound of her cry at that moment is, something like that, you hear that forever. The devastation and the heartbreak and the disbelief. You can never unhear that. After the wreck, like I said, she was prescribed a lot of narcotics and Xanax and all these kind of different medications that shouldn't be prescribed to a 15-year-old. And that's where that started.
We were talking about when I was in high school and I ended up befriending this kid who had no friends and he ended up kind of ruining my life. I went to a pretty small high school and like it was kind of a weird school, but like there was this one kid who had absolutely no friends and I had a few classes with him. We didn't interact till like junior year when we got seated assigned next to each other in class and we started talking and I was like, oh my God, this kid is actually interesting. I actually liked him, whatever. We became friends in class and then one day I invited him to sit with my group at lunch and my group of friends were like the cool kids at this weird ass fucking school and everyone was like, oh, what the fuck? Why are you inviting, let's call him Jason. Why are you inviting Jason to sit at our table? And I was like, just get to know him. Like he's actually really cool. And they did get to know him and everyone actually really ended up liking him and he integrated as hell into my friend group. All the guys were friends with him. I was super happy. I was like, this is great at first. Then a couple months in, he ended up being a complete fucking dick to me, started bullying me, making these jokes to me that were just like over the line, just like really mean shit. And I would like call him out on it and he just continued to do it, including making a song about me that like low-key went viral and like the entire school knew about it and he played it in music class and he was like calling me a hoe and it was like about how he wanted to get with me or something. And like a teacher came up to me and she was like, like that song Jason made, like you could have him suspended for that. Like, do you want that? And at the time, I was still trying to like, we all be friends. And I was like, no. But I slowly distanced myself from him, but I couldn't stop him from like being in these social gatherings because he was friends now with all of my friends and everyone liked him. Fast forward to that summer, he asked me to play tennis because we both play tennis. And I only said yes because I did want to like hit and like not be off my game. And then afterwards, I was just going to go home. He basically like begged me to come over to his house and like hang out. And I did for a little bit. And then I left and he was super upset about it. And when I was at his house, this is an important detail. I logged into my IG once on my own phone and I had to type in the password. Fast forward to 2 months into the next school year, and one of my friends, this girl Julie, had a party. And a couple days after the party, there was like this group chat on IG or something, just people saying stuff they left there, just like talking about the night, whatever. And in the group chat, it was like 30 or 40 people. This guy wrote, oh my God, Eva, like you were so drunk or something like that, like a joke. But I thought it was funny. I was like, ha ha ha. Like, I really didn't give a fuck. The next day I get to school and everyone is acting super weird towards me. Like I ran into one of my guy friends in the hallway and he like wouldn't speak to me. He was like ignoring me. I was like, all morning, I was like, something weird is going on. Then comes lunch period and I like met up with like my girls And they were like, oh my God, did you really write that message to Steven? Someone had said earlier in the day, how could you do that to Steven? And I had no idea what anyone was talking about. I was like, what message? And one of my friends whips out her phone and she shows me on IG in that group chat that I had written from my account this nasty ass message to our friend Steve in response to him saying I was drunk, which I would never have done. Like, I really didn't care about his comment. And it was like very detailed. I think it had some like racist stuff in it. It was just like some mean shit that I would never have said. I just remember being so confused. Like, that was my emotion, because it was like a Tuesday night or something when this went down. I was like, how could someone have hacked me? And my best friends were like, did you write this for real? And I was like, no. And they were like, okay, we believe you. But no one else did. And we go to lunch in the big group, guys and girls all sitting together, and everyone's like being an asshole to me. But I was like, whatever. I was just talking to my girls about it. I was just like, I'm super confused. And then this girl, Courtney, pulls me aside and she's like, I have something to tell you, but you have to promise you won't tell anyone. I'm like, okay, what is it? And she's like, Jason has had your IG password for months since the summer. He saw you type it in when you were playing tennis with him, and he logs into your account all the time and reads your messages. Bro, I was like, oh, you're gonna expect me not to tell this? I immediately ran over to the group and I was like, fuck you, Jason. I know that you have gone through my messages. Like, you're the one that wrote that message in the group chat. Like, you're fucking psychotic. And he full on denied it, like hardcore denied it. And the way that like the other guys in the group and like people in our friend group were just like defending him and like siding with him, I was like, are you kidding? He was like, you're crazy. Like, the gaslighting was like fucking insane. And it's funny because when she was telling me this, something clicked that in my head, like sometimes in the last couple months, I would log into my IG and like see messages that I hadn't read, but they were already like clicked on. And I just thought it was a glitch or something, but it was obviously him reading his messages. And I had so much fucking personal tea on there. Obviously, you know, you're in high school, you're gossiping. And later that day, he came up to me and I was like, bro, I'm going to fucking end you. Like, you're going to get suspended. It's like cyberbullying. You can't do that. Like, it was in our student handbook or something. And he was like, if you do that, I'm going to blackmail you and tell everyone the tea that you said this and that and all this personal stuff about you. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, okay, if I said fucking Claire is annoying, okay, go the fuck ahead. He was trying to like blackmail me and lord it over me. He was like bullying me. He like slammed my locker on me, all this stuff. And I literally went to the principal and I told him, I don't give a fuck, okay? The way that evening I got text messages from my guy friends, like so mean, including one that I was really close with, being like, I knew you were a bitch, but I didn't know you were a snitch as well. To this day, literally fuck all those people. Like, my girls like stood with me and believed me, like my three best friends, and everyone else, literally fuck them and fuck the school. I don't even think they suspended him. Like, they didn't do anything. And he had slammed his locker on me too, and he didn't get like suspended for that. Like, towards the end of the year, he started to act up way too much, even with other people, and like everyone started hating him as well. And I was like, I told you so. Did I get an apology from anyone? No, I did not. Did I write a paper about this my freshman year of college and get an A+? Yes, I did.
Ready with me while I tell you why not to go out of town with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So me and my boyfriend, we've been dating for about 2 months now, and we decided to go ahead and take a trip to Miami. Y'all probably gonna be like, why y'all go to Miami? Miami's already toxic. Girl, keep listening, because it's gonna get crazy. Now, everything was cool going to the airport, getting on the plane, getting off the plane, but as soon as we touched down in Miami, he seemed like a whole different person. Then when we go to the garage and go to the rental car, decides to pick up our bags, like our luggage, and like slam it in the car like it's nothing fragile in there, like my MacBook wasn't in there. I'm like, first of all, where did all this anger come from? What's really going on? So I asked him, hey, like, why would you do that? Why would you like slam our bags into the car? This is what this man said. Mind your business. But y'all, I'm thinking he's trolling. Like, you're trolling, because he never called me out my name before. Like, dude, we've been dating for 2 months. I mean, it's not a long time, but you never called me out my name. So I'm like, wait, hold on. Are you trolling? Or are we like joking around? You want me to crack a joke with you? So at this point, I'm yelling at him. He yelling at me. We in this empty garage, girl, just yelling at each other in the car. But he gonna turn around. He gonna say, sorry, I'm just can't wait, because I'm in a rush to do something, and I didn't mean to call you out your name. In a rush to do what? We're in Miami. Like what? We don't even have nothing planned yet. But he's like, no, I'm just ready to get to the hotel and chill and be with you, and I'm just ready to have a great time in Miami. I mean, okay, it just sounded like, where did this mood switch come from? Like, what's going on? I drew that so bad. Kind of on the edge while we're on the way to the hotel, but I try to make the best as I can because we are on vacation, and I'm decided to chill out and just forget what just happened in the car. Finally get to the hotel room. He opens up all his luggage. He takes something out of the luggage. I didn't even see what it was. Then he goes in the bathroom and he locks the door. Okay, this is kind of getting weird. So I started knocking on the bathroom door. I'm like, hey, like, babe, are you okay? Like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Just give me a second. I have a bad stomach. I don't believe you. So when my boyfriend finally gets out of the bathroom, he hands me a gift box and tells me to open it in front of him. And inside, maybe was not my happily ever after. Ever since me and my boyfriend got to Miami, he's been acting very strange. My boyfriend finally decides to come out the bathroom and gives me a gift box to open. But in this box might not be my happily ever after. Only at my boyfriend trying to ease the situation because we have been arguing all day. So when I open the gift box, it is a cute diamond necklace. But this wasn't an ordinary necklace. The necklace had a pendant on it and the pendant had a name on it. But the name wasn't my name. I picked up the necklace from the box and it says Vanessa. Boy, who is Vanessa? I don't take no time. I'm over here dangling the necklace in front of him like, Vanessa, who is Vanessa? Who? Are you fucking owl? Who is Vanessa? So he's trying to calm me down, talk about some, oh, they probably just swapped up the wrong one. I promise I'm gonna get you the right one tomorrow. You know, they just messed me up this time. I swear, boy, I'm not falling for that. I'm really trying to keep my composure and giving him nonchalant responses like, okay, I guess so. It's whatever. It's fine. Just keep it. My boyfriend sees that I'm visibly upset by this mistake that he made. So he told me that, okay, I'm going to take you out to dinner wherever you want to go. And of course, I said Ruth Chris. I already had a feeling that this date was really going to go really bad since we already had a really bad day. And maybe I might have been right because what happened during this is going to get wild. My boyfriend are in the car and we're on the way to go to Ruth Chris, but we have to stop to get some gas. So we go to the gas station and of course he's going to hop out and pay for that gas, okay? But mind y'all, we were playing music off of his phone. So his phone is connected to the Apple radio play. So you can see like who's been texting you, who's been calling you, who getting incoming calls, all that, okay? My boyfriend hops out the car to go get the gas. I'm really thinking to myself like, can this day get any worse? And guess what happens? The phone rings from the Bluetooth inside the car and guess who's calling? Vanessa. Oh, the mistake, the name on the necklace that my boyfriend gave me. You I don't think my boyfriend knows that his phone is still connected to the car because I'm pretty sure he can't hear what she's saying, but I can hear everything she's saying from inside the car. You will not believe what Vanessa said, okay? So my boyfriend left me in the car while he was getting gas from the gas station, and guess what? His phone is still connected to the car. Anyone that calls him or texts him, I can see. And guess who calls him? Vanessa. If you know who that is, go to part 2. Press share and more to go to part 2. My boyfriend picks up the phone inside the gas station, but he cannot hear her, but I can hear everything she's saying in the car. And guess what she was saying? Hey, I'm about to get in the shower. Is our plan still on for tonight? You're telling me that my boyfriend has plans with another girl in Miami where we're not from and has plans with her too? Oh yeah, it's about to go down. So I was thinking of deciding to put the phone on speaker so I can cuss Vanessa out, but I had other plans. Most likely, my boyfriend wasn't going to have me, his girlfriend, and another girl at the same restaurant while he's trying to cheat on me. So I decided to text Vanessa from the car the same address of our restaurant. And she's going to pull up there so I can see what's really about to happen. So my boyfriend gets back from pumping the gas and he decides to ask me, was my phone still connected to the Bluetooth? No, babe, it wasn't. We finally sat down at the restaurant since we had reservations, but my boyfriend seems a little anxious. Mind you, I'm over here trying to act calm because I literally just found out that my boyfriend is cheating on me in Miami while I'm here. So suddenly my boyfriend gets up and tells me that he has to go ahead and run to get my gift, my new necklace. You're lying, you finna go see that girl. Or so he thought. To my boyfriend, hey, I can go with you, but he told me that he don't want us to lose our reservations. Boy, F these reservations. I'm gonna come with you. You're not gonna leave me here by myself. So right now, I'm chasing my boyfriend to the entrance, but guess who decides to start walking in? While I'm chasing my boyfriend to the entrance of the restaurant, guess who starts walking in? Vanessa. Mind y'all, my boyfriend doesn't know that I already know who it is already, but why when she walks in, she gonna say my boyfriend's name? When she says my boyfriend's name, I turn around, I'm like, who is this? My boyfriend talk about some, baby chill. No, who is this? And how does she know your name? How does she know where we're at? No, I sent her the address. Nessa starts to try to talk to me. I'm like, girl, no. I'm talking to my boyfriend right now. Who is this? Keep in mind that Vanessa and my boyfriend actually kind of look alike, no cap. That's important for later. My boyfriend decides to tell me that this is his family friend, Nessa, that wanted to visit him in Miami. At this point, I'm confused because I'm like, first of all, why is this my first time hearing about her? And why didn't you tell me that y'all were going to meet up in Miami? It's your family, just like your friend. And like what's really going on? At this point, I'm kind of really heated in the restaurant. So Vanessa tries to pull me aside and try to tell me, hey girl, this is what really is going on. So I'm grown. So I'm like, okay, let me hear you out. Like, who are you really? Tell me why Vanessa felt comfortable to pull me aside and tell me that my boyfriend and her was best friends in elementary school, and you know, she might have had a little crush on him or whatever, but she grew out of it and she used to hang around their family, so she's technically family now. Girl, huh? So I told the girl, Vanessa, okay, how about you buy me a drink and we finna see what's going on. At this point, I might as well use her to get something out of her. You know, you already caused me some trouble today with my boyfriend, so okay. So here's where things take a turn. Me, my boyfriend, and my boyfriend's family friend, Vanessa, okay? And we're sitting at the dinner table and we're waiting to get our waiter to our table. So the waiter comes to this table and he says, hey, can I get you guys started with anything to drink? And of course, I told him, hey, yeah, shorty right here, she finna pay for our drinks, okay? Waiter asks for Vanessa's ID. Vanessa passes it to him, but the waiter says that Vanessa has a beautiful name. But it's not the name that we've been thinking the whole time. When the waiter asks Vanessa, is her name Spanish for something? Vanessa says, yeah, for island. Island? Vanessa's not Spanish for island. So now I'm putting the pieces together of why when you call my boyfriend had you contact name as Vanessa, but your name isn't Vanessa. Who are you? Who are you to my boyfriend?
My baby about to graduate high school today, and we almost told the Civic Center before the graduation even happened. My whole family, baby. We swarmed down there like bees. My daughter got this sometime friend who been a sometime friend since my daughter met her. So my grandma had all my baby graduation stuff inside of a bag. And she got out, put her cap and gown on, put her shawl on, and all her stuff. They get inside, and my daughter is real mild-mannered. But my middle one, you will never play with. Not today, tomorrow, next week, next year. You ain't gonna never play with that girl. But my oldest one, yeah, she a sweetheart. She ain't gonna say too much to you. Why this girl bullied my baby and made my baby give her shawl off of her body 2 hours before graduation. Girl, my entire family, that's why we rushing to get to the graduation now. My entire family, when I mean from my great aunts, to my auntie, to my sisters, to my cousins, to everybody, stopped what they were doing, hopped out the shower, mid-shower, and everything. Baby, and we ran down to that Civic Center to turn it out. Yeah, we was going to turn that thing out, baby. When I tell you we were going to turn it out, we were going to turn it out, baby. When nobody going to have no graduation. Unless my baby had her shawl. Don't play about your kids. Don't play about your kids. I don't care who it is, baby. Never play about your kids. Once a teardrop dropped out of my baby's face, baby, I made my 16-year-old turn around, baby. She was there before anybody. She said, Mama, can I cuss her out? I said, you cuss her out right now. Cause about mine, we can go to hell or jail, whatever you want to do. As the teacher, if you knew you had extra to make the situation die down a little bit, and it's already an emotional day and it's a lot going on, as the teacher, you probably should have just went ahead and gave my baby another one. But no, what you did was you waited till my whole family started coming through that door looking for that shawl, baby, and you go tell my auntie something, well, I got another one. My auntie said, well, baby, you should have been said that. We can go home and get ready, baby, because we was ready. Nobody was going to graduate. Guess what that lady said? She said, oh, you Anaya's family, ain't it? Oh, I remember y'all. Oh, I'm glad you do, boo, because you knew. We ain't play then, we ain't going to play today. Never play about your kids. Never.
Before I got pregnant, 2 friends of ours got engaged. The week I found out I was pregnant, we found out that their wedding was going to be abroad. As soon as I found out, I started calculating. I was like, how old will the baby be when the wedding is, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that he would be around 10 months. Then we find out more details about the wedding, that there aren't going to be any kids allowed at the wedding. So we start having a light conversation with my parents about what would happen. Would you watch him? How would that go? And we come to this conclusion that they would watch him and it'll all be good. So then we start planning our trip to Italy and getting everything together. Then I gave birth. I went through really bad postpartum depression, really bad baby blues. But in my mind, there was this light at the end of the tunnel where I was like, you know what? It's going to be fine. We have this trip that's going to come up. It's going to be here before we know it. My husband and I will be able to reconnect. It's just going to be us. It's going to be our moment where we get to find ourselves again and have this time for ourselves. My mom watches the baby when I go to work, so I know that he's comfortable with them. It's all good. Everything's going to be fine. And now we're leaving for that wedding in a week and a half. And now I'm freaking out. My son has a great relationship with my parents. He loves going there. He spends a lot of time with them. He's going to be absolutely fine. I am not. I'm frantic, frazzled, and unwell. And I share all of this to say that if you are in the part of postpartum where you are feeling depressed, you are feeling anxious, you are not feeling well, you feel homesick in your own home, you don't know what's going on, there's going to come a moment where you do feel settled in your life. I can't promise you it's going to be at 10 months postpartum, but what I can tell you is that if you are honest about your feelings, you lean into all of the undesirable feelings that you have during this phase, and you allow yourself to feel through everything that's uncomfortable to get to the other side, there's going to come a point where you are just so rooted in your new life and you realize that there's nowhere else you'd rather be. And I share all of this because when I was in the depth of postpartum, I really wish that I could have looked at stories like this and been like, oh my God, it is going to be okay one day. And I think people like to share a lot of the bad, and as much as I like to share the honest truth, which is sometimes really damn ugly and sometimes absolutely beautiful, I think the key is to know that you can survive absolutely anything. And the way things feel right now may not be how they feel in a few months from now. And the depressed you who you don't recognize right now is not always going to be the same person who's looking back at you in the mirror. As a first-time mom, I think it's just always confusing. You're always learning, you're always growing, you're always changing, and you're always having to evolve yourself. So I don't necessarily know there will ever come a moment where you're like, everything is perfect. But I do think there comes a moment where you're like, I feel very grounded in who I am in this new chapter, and I'm actually comfortable in the uncomfortable nature of it all. My number one piece of advice, don't be ashamed of your feelings. You are not the first person to feel this way. You're not the only person who's ever felt that way. And you're probably not the only person who feels like that right now. Be honest about your feelings, lean into them, and just look for support and get support wherever you can, because this moment that you're in right now will not last forever. You're never alone.
At the time, Paris police tried to rob me and my boyfriend. This was our first trip together. We'd only been dating for 6 months at the time, going to Paris, Rome, and Venice. We were only a day or two into our trip. We spent the day shopping. We didn't buy anything crazy. We just got a few lighters from the YSL store, so we had a little YSL bag. We were taking the subway back to our hotel at the end of the night. The subway was pretty full at the time. It was probably around 9 p.m. A lot of people were going home. As we're sitting on the subway, this group of police comes up to us. It's a lady and like 3 guy cops. They approach us and they go, "Excuse me, can we see your tickets, please?" They immediately start speaking to us in English, so they knew that we were American. We were kind of confused because all day that we had been riding the subway, no one had ever asked us to see our tickets. We would just buy the one-time use. We were a little thrown off, but we were like, yeah, like, hold on, let's get it really quick. All day that we were riding the subways, we kept putting our little ticket stubs in this shopping bag that we had. Since we weren't really paying attention to where we were keeping our tickets, we had a bunch of these that we were using all day in our shopping bag. We took all of them out and we were like, it must be one of these ticket stubs. They were looking through them and they were like, no, like none of these are for this ride. At this point, we were super confused because we knew that the ticket stubs were all in this bag. Like every single one that we bought were in this bag that we had. Also, another side note, these ticket stubs like didn't have a date on them. They didn't have like a special number on them. Like they all were like really basic little stubs. We were confused how they even knew what stub was from what subway because they all kind of looked the same. We said, we're sorry, these are all the stubs we have. These are the stubs that we've used today. We're sure these are the right stubs. Like we didn't know what to say. At this point, they're starting to get kind of angry at us, and they told us that the next subway stop, we had to get off with them and exit the subway. As soon as the subway came to a stop, these cops escorted us off of the subway, kind of took us into a corner in the subway station underground. It was kind of scary, and there was no one else around, just us and these cops in this subway stop. They spoke broken English, so we were able to communicate with them, but it was a little off, which made it even more scary, honestly, for us. They stood both of us against the wall and told us that we were in trouble and they were going to take us to jail unless we proved to them that we paid for the subway. During this whole thing, the girl cop was kind of leading. She was kind of the one communicating mainly with us. The other few were kind of standing back. They were watching what was happening. We noticed that one of the guys was kind of looking around, like he kind of felt bad. He wasn't really sure what they were doing, if they should be doing that or not. So that was us. At this point, we're freaking out. We're both like kind of getting high strung. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to say. We said we promised that we paid for it. We didn't know what they were talking about. We did not sneak in. We didn't steal. We were like, we swear we paid. We don't know what to do. The girl cop told us that if we paid 100 euros right there, they would let us go and they wouldn't take us to jail and everything would be okay. The whole day we had been using our card because we didn't get euros out yet. I think this was one of our first days there. So we didn't get any euros out. We didn't have any cash on us. So we were looking through our bags trying to see like if there was anything we could give them. And my boyfriend pulled out $100 bill and he was like, here, like this is what I have, but it was American dollars. The girl cop was like, no, we don't take American dollars, you have to pay in euros. Like where are the euros? My boyfriend was checking his pockets. We were trying to show them that we didn't have anything. They ended up asking to check my bag. They opened my bag. They took my bag, searched my whole bag to make sure we didn't have any euros. They searched my boyfriend. They searched all our shopping bags to make sure that we didn't have any euros and we weren't lying. We even offered to go to an ATM, get out euros, like, take us, we'll go get the euros out, like, we'll give them to you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like kind of crying at this point. I'm freaking out. We both feel like we're gonna go to Paris jail. Like, we're so scared. We're like, what do we do? We're so confused. The girl cop ends up going back over to the group and discussing it with them in French. They're talking in French, trying to figure out what they're gonna do with us pretty much. Finally, after like 5 minutes, the main girl and guy that were kind of leading this whole thing come back up to us and they were like, okay, you don't have the money. You're gonna have to go back outside of the subway, come back in, buy a ticket, and then you can get back on. Obviously, we were trying to get out of this situation as fast as possible. So we were like, okay, yes, of course, like whatever, like we'll do that. We'll buy another ticket. It's fine. Their whole group followed us over to the entrance of the subway, made us exit the subway, and watched us as we went to the pay station, bought a new ticket, and walked back into the same spot that we were just at. The whole time we could feel like a few of them felt really bad for us. Like they looked like they felt really guilty. You could see it in their face that they were like, oh, like maybe we shouldn't be doing this. But then they ended up just leaving as soon as we went back in the subway, and we looked at each other like, what was that? Like literally what just happened? So yeah, that's my story about how